So this is going to be covering how to make an SSS plus team and also land within the top 10% within your first 16 days of playing an account, or at least that's where mine is. Scroll down a little bit here. Total logins, 16 out of 20. So this is pretty much a fresh account. And there's no way I drop 4% within one day. This SSS Plus is going to pretty much let you full clear the Journey of Secession Challenge Hall of Trials, and also the 10% gets you a little bit more on the rewards here. Lets you go all the way up to 30. Wow. But yeah, this is mostly just for fun, being able to get within the top 10%. And the important thing is that in the teams that we use, we're not going to waste any units at all. Brieg is Brieg, use them everywhere. Tamarinne, use them anywhere. Cermia, Light Expedition DPS. Suthan, we use them in Nightmare R Hakan. These are all units that are used very frequently, and they're genuinely good. Like even endgame, you'll be using them. And there will be a secondary team, which will have Sigret in place of Cermia. Sigret, we use her for Wyvern. And also Baal and Suthan in place of Suthan, in case you don't have Suthan. Baal Suthan is used in First Expedition. He's the best in slot debuffer. No one else really does it like him for his role. And he is also usable in Nightmare Vera, so that is 6 units, 2 different teams. All of them are used very frequently. There's not any sort of unit wastage here. So we can get Cermia and Brieg back in here. Or not Brieg, Cermia and Suthan back in here, and we can take a look at their stats. So for Brieg, he's pretty much full tank with a bit of speed. It's a pretty big tanking requirement on the front slot in this fight, so that's why I just gave him a bunch of HP sets. I have Steadfast Gatekeeper as my artifact. You can use Proof of Valor if you don't have Gatekeeper. We're just trying to make him really, really bulky, but a bit of speed is nice just for tuning purposes as well. Now there's Tamarinne. For Tamarinne, she's on her normal gear, except I stole her accessories for Brieg. She's on to her some lesser ones. For her artifact, I'm using Ragaraha's Tomb still. If you have Rod of Amaryllis or Unfading Memories, those can be nice for more sustain if you need it. Then there is Suthan. I have him built with a mix of speed and bulk. I try not to make them too fast to keep it a bit more relatable. And, I mean, my boots aren't even reforged. I should probably reforge those. But his artifact is going to be Prophetic Candlestick. Prophetic Candlestick has a chance to decrease his cooldowns when he's hit. And you get hit a lot in this fight. Not like all hits that do damage, it's just a bunch of hits. So a really good chance for the artifact to proc. And it helps increase our damage by a little bit. Then there's Cermia. Cermia, you actually kind of gear her kind of weirdly, because you cannot proc you can't crit in this fight. So you just stack as much attack as possible, and then a bit of extra into HP. Like for sword, helmet, and necklace, I just maxed out attack. Chest and boots. Well, chest I maxed out attack, and then boots was attack percent main with as much HP as possible. Then chest is as much HP as possible, and then ring, attack percent main with as much HP as possible. Artifact, I'm using Symbol of Unity. If you find yourself struggling to survive, you can honestly drop some damage. It's not very hard to hit SSS Plus with this team. You can drop some damage and get some bulk, or swap this out for Proof of Valor or something. And then for her EE, I'm using the barrier one. I'm not sure how much it matters, to be honest. If you find the barrier useful, you can use it. Otherwise, just use any artifact that gives her 14%. That's it for the stats, and now you can take a look at the run. So, our goal is mainly just to survive. It's going to be very easy for us to get SSS Plus if we just simply survive the first 2 phases and play it out properly. You're also guaranteed SSS Plus if you just clear all 3 phases, or at least enter all 3 break phases without dying. We will be seeing how high we can get our score. Here we need 2 more hits to get her to 60%. 60% is the number you need in order to get her into break phase properly. So now she's at 60, and we can finally use Brieg Stats. We haven't been using it until now because this 20% CR push on his S1 is pretty integral to him cutting AYufi here. This is less than 20 with the gap. We can finally use S2. And then we get S1. We need 4 debuffs. Suthan has 3. Brieg has 1. Pop our idle form because ants hit twice when they entered the phase. In order to get them to hit more, you need to use AoEs, and now Tamarinne's S1 is an AoE. You also need this number to be 4, so we're going to S2. If you don't attack, it doesn't go away. Now we can use an AoE. Now we're at 4. We're going to use Tamarinne S2 to push Cermia up. Use Brieg S2 to stall a turn. So that this bar doesn't go up, it only goes up when you hit her. You can hit her 8 times. Now we're going to S1. That got rid of the defense buff, having that number at 4. Now we're going to spam some AoEs. We got our Candlestick proc, which is nice. 1 proc in 6 turns is all we need. And we can let our S3 rip. So when you're at 6, it says that when you attack the boss, if you use skill 3, additional damage is inflicted in proportion to the damage dealt. This is only supposed to happen at level 6, though for some reason, when I was using a different team, it was happening regardless of level, but it doesn't happen with Cermia. When you have 6, you definitely want to be using S3. If you don't have that extra damage pop, technically, S1 is slightly higher damage than S3. I don't know what the condition is to have it activate like that. It might just be bugged or something. Again, we're just trying to survive until this number hits 0. So it's at 70, we need 2 hits. Suthan and Cermia coming right up, so we'll just S2 here. Helps block some of the burn damage too. Now we can pop our idle form. Now here's a bit unlucky. If I did give my Suthan my best speed gear and I made him a bit faster, he would have cut Tamarinne here. But he doesn't, so we're just going to use S2. And then now we can S3. And we're going to stall one more turn. And there's no point to us using our S1 there, because Suthan's going to cut. And actually, Tamarinne's going to cut too, so we can just wait. Not even going to have to S1 or S3 the Suthan, because Tamarinne's got the AoE covered. And now to show you, like this says nothing about the extra damage pump when you use S3. Now we can do this. And we can... I mean, I'll show. I'm going to use my S3 here, and no damage pump, but on the other one I do, there is a damage pump for some reason. Can't explain it. Phase 3, she is fast, she is hitting hard. We just barely managed to survive that, and now we can pop our idle form. A bit early, but we still got enough time. We'll be able to cycle our off of our idle form, and then once we get our skill cooldowns back, entering the break phase, we can just enter idle form again. Back into the break phase. And S2 to stall turn. This is going to be our cleanse. And again, we might as well just wait a turn. And then, same thing, level 4. Doesn't say anything, I'm just gonna use it. No damage pump. It is what it is. Either way, that gets us 7.3 million. Which puts us within 6%, and that is probably safe for the top 10%. Now for the second team we'll be using, this is a backup for anybody who does not have Suthan. If you took Baal and Suthan from your selector due to him being a very, very good PvE hero, then you can use him here with Sigret to cover the debuffs. It is a little bit harder to play, but we can get around that a little bit. So let's start off with Brieg. Brieg is pretty much the same as before. It's just full HP, with a little bit of speed, and a Steadfast Gatekeeper or Proof of Valor. And then we have Tamarinne. She's just on her normal gear, except her accessories got swapped with Brieg because Brieg needs the bulk more. If you're struggling with Sustain, you can use Rod of Amaryllis or Unfading Memories in place of Magaraha's Tomb. Then Baal and Suthan, I just stole Suthan's gear. He has a little bit higher base speed, so he's a bit faster. Plus his EE, that increases his S3 debuff chances, and I have him on Warhorn as well. Warhorn is because Baal's cooldowns are low enough that he doesn't really need the Candlestick procs, plus he has 2 AoEs. You can go Candlestick if you wanted. So then, here is Sigret. Sigret, I kind of built her really, really bulky. This is just because you're guaranteed 4.5 million if you just clear all 3 phases. You can still, like even with this build, get the 4.5 million within 2 phases. It's just worst case scenario, just bulk it up. This is kind of overkill. She doesn't really need to be this tanky. And I also gave her Proof of Valor. It's just because this team is a bit harder to set up in the break phase. I didn't want to rely on having to actually get damage in, but it's if you clear all 3 phases, it's a free 4.5 million. So that's it for their stats, and now you can take a look at the run. this is gonna be the survive, well, clear 3 break phases method for guaranteed 4.5 million. You can try going for the clear in 2 method with damage. I just find it kind of annoying to run this team, so I opted to go for the tank it up and just clear the phases method instead. Same as before, we're aiming for 60% here. So this is 60, and we can use to turn the Brieg to. We need our 4 debuffs. Sigret's not going to get to move in time, so we're going to have to S1 for now. Same thing with Brieg, we got to S1. We can pop our idol form. And then Sigret's S2 is going to give us 2 debuffs, which I haven't actually. I need to plus 15 this. Or I need to plus 5 her S2, I completely forgot. Whatever, she landed both of them. And then Baal. So normally Sigret S2 should be 100%. Baal S3 is always going to be 90%. It's immune to decreased defense, so it's just decreased speed and unhealable. If he lands both, we're in the break phase. If he lands one, we won't be. But then, even though Brieg normally would get cut, we can just Tamarinne S2 and Brieg will get pushed up. Let's S3 and see what happens. Okay, he landed both, so I guess we're in the break phase now. And we can use S1. S2 to stall here. And honestly, it doesn't really matter what we do here. I'm still playing the mechanic, but we're really just trying to clear all 3 phases because we're not going to be doing much damage anyways. Either way, now we can just S3. We still get a bit of extra damage. And again, we are just waiting. I'm actually going to pop idol form here just for the cleanse. We still have enough turns left that we can just cycle around and we'll be able to get it back up in time. Gonna S2 for the barrier as well. So with Tamarinne having her S2, we actually are going to be able to push everybody up in time. So we can just do this. Sigret S2. Landed both. And Baal S3 has a very high chance to land at least one. And he landed both, as we can see, because of one extra debuff that peeked through. Baal S3 again. Brieg stalls a turn here. So we are going to use S2 here. This can be our first AoE.
아가씨.
준비는 모두 끝냈습니다. 사라지시죠.
쓸데없는 짓을 아가씨
귀찮게 굴지 마.
오래 적에게 관용은 필요.
And through the power of very lucky tuning, we actually are able to hit 6.
모두 당신의 뜻 여기까지입니다.
And we were able to get our SSS in 2 phases, even though I pretty much went Tank Sigret. So at this point, we have our free SSS, and you can just let yourself die. Don't yield. You have to
절망을 쳐.
at least die. But might as well play out the run.
기절할 것 같아. 저리 가세요. 늦을까?
반항은 이게 전부인가?
Let's check our cooldowns. We got one more turn. Well, we are full tank, but I'm still going to press S2 here.
아가씨
귀찮게 굴지 마. 무서워. 라라라. 명령에 따르겠습니다.
We need 3 more hits in this turn. I'm going to... If I don't press this here, Brieg is going to die. We'll deal with any issues that come from us not ending break phase properly after.
쓸데없는 짓을
Sigret does cut, I wasn't sure if she would. Going to press idle here.
아가씨
Now the question is, will Tamarinne cut Yufine? I'm not sure.
절망을
I think Tamarinne will cut Yufine, but it's fine, because we can just have everybody take their turns right afterwards. I'll just S1 here.
아가씨
부르지마 멍청아.
아가씨 준비되셨나요? 하찮은 적에게
Name the two.
관용은 필요. 주제 모르는 자의 자만. 가슴
준비는 모두 끝냈습니다.
One.
제거한다.
This is 2 more. So here, I'm going to S2 now.
귀찮게 굴지 마.
Awkwardly, Tamarinne does cut ahead of Sigret here.
절망을 자초하는 정령왕 힘을
Don't really have a choice but to S1.
명령에 따르겠습니다.
아가씨
But that, you see the bar jumped a little bit? That's just because when you hit with 6, it jumps the bar a bit extra.
아가씨 쓸데없는 짓을
And, well, it's the last phase, so we might as well use S3.
네 가치는 상실뿐이야.
모두
And
당신
unfortunately, Sigret does not get cut by either Baal or Tamarinne. Either one of them would have been nice just to get one more AoE in, but we'll just rip our S3.
아가씨
귀찮게 굴지 마.
For a little bit over 6.8 million. So 7.2 million gets you within 6%. 6.8 million is not much lower. This should hopefully be safe for top 10% for anybody following this. That's it for the video. It was honestly kind of fun doing this. Not sure if I'll continue doing like just bare bones minimum SSS plus stuff, maybe for a few more weeks while more new players flood in. And I'm glad that I was able to do it with like 0 unit wastage. Just only using units that are like actually useful. So it's honestly pretty fun. Like, I wasn't sure how far I'd be able to take this. Sad I couldn't get one in the top 5%, though it is gear gap. Maybe if I did enhance all of that attack set, which I'm kind of tempted to do now. We'll see if I actually bother. But yeah, this was more fun than I expected. We'll see if I continue doing it or not. Of course, I always do the usual top 100 teams. But see you guys next time.